This is NASCAR Coast to Coast, brought to you by Hercules Tires, right on our strength, and by Grunt Style. Now, with all the news from NASCAR Touring, local and international series racing, here are Kyle Rickey and Hannah Newhouse.
Major short track events on each coast highlight a busy week of short track racing across the NASCAR Whelen All-American Series. Welcome to NASCAR Coast to Coast for Wednesday, July 4th, 2018. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Kyle Rickey with you here in Killingly, Connecticut. Joined this week, not by Hannah Newhouse, but by Andy Seuss, who is filling in for Hannah this week, who is on assignment. She was out covering the Summer Showdown at the Evergreen Speedway in Monroe, Washington. We'll talk more about that race here in a little bit. But, Andy, welcome back to the studio. It's been a while.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Glad to see what you've done with the place. Looks awesome since I was here last. And, you know, I gotta start earning my way on the show a little bit more so I don't have to guest host. But hopefully we can do that here shortly.
I haven't done a thing to the place because, like you, I'm not there that much
Your
either,
place
so.
looks wonderful, though. It really does.
Well, thank you. Do you like the sign?
I love the decorating.
Thank you a couple of years ago. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about what you've been up to here recently. Like I mentioned a moment ago, it has been a while since you've been on the show, either as a guest or as a co-host. A couple of modified starts earlier this year in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. How did those go for you, and what are the plans for the rest of the season?
Yeah, we debuted our number 57 OB Builders team, owned by Brian Doe, a teammate to his 97 car, at Myrtle Beach, and then went to Thompson. Both promising runs and you know, not quite the result we were looking for. Thompson's been a little bit rough to us as of late, but real happy with the new car, the new team. That was good. Did some local racing around here, Hickory and Concord, and had some good runs, so we were happy with that. And some ARCA racing. And, you know, that's been a great opportunity driving for Chris Auer and the Robert B. Auer Company's 02. And, you know, it's a little bit different of a year. The bigger events that you do or I do in the small team that we have, it just takes more time. So I haven't been able to be out at the track competing as a driver as much. You know, I envy what guys like Keith Rocco do week in and week out and be able to run multiple nights a week. But just a little bit shift of focus in racing, a lot more nights in the shop and trying to get things right. We ran Daytona, Talladega, Charlotte so far, top 10 at Talladega. We were happy with that. You know, and looking forward to doing more of that, regrouping as a team. It's a pretty great opportunity. Like I said, I've had to make a conscious decision. I'm not going to be able to be at the racetrack, you know, 3 nights a week or even every week for that matter. But excited for the next race back to Loudon with the NASCAR Modifieds. We got the All-Star Showdown Friday night and the 100-lapper on Saturday. So very excited to be back in familiar territory, but with that new team.
Yeah, that event just about 2 weeks away, a combo weekend for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. You mentioned your ARCA starts. Last time I saw you was at Talladega, I believe, and really a good run until you got swept up into an incident on the backstretch, I believe.
Yeah, I had a right front tire go down, just a puncture in a tire, really nothing anybody could do. A little frustrating. You know, we came off our second place finish there last year, really was looking to kind of build on that, you know, and we had 2 cars there for Auer Motorsports with Josh Williams driving the second car. So even with the right front tire putting us behind, you know, track position coming in pit, plus the damage, it actually it did rip up the car real good, but the crew did a great job getting the car back out, and we were able to come back out with a top 10. So Josh Williams grabbing a top 5 with 5th. So for our kind of small little team, you know, not very old, still building, we're real happy with where our super speedway program is right now. I really think we could have had 2 top 5s. And when you think of the level of competition in ARCA right now, running against MDM, Joe Gibbs teams, Schrader Racing, Venturini, for us to do what we do, I was real happy with that. So now we're kind of doing a little bit more intermediate track stuff, which is another kind of starting over from scratch, some growing pains and different things, but we're happy able to finish on the lead lap at Charlotte Motor Speedway and you know, looking to grow from there. So the next race probably won't be till the fall, and it'll be another 1.5 miles. But like I said, just kind of circling events and trying to build on it. So really excited about where our Auer Motorsports is right now.
Before we start talking about the guests on the show today, I want to talk about modified racing in the South. Obviously, you're a former NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour champion down there. Since NASCAR pulled out a year and a half ago now and is not sanctioning a full-time Southern Modified Series, of course, the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour makes a couple of trips down to the south each season, the last 2 years anyway, Myrtle Beach and Langley. How has modified racing changed down there without NASCAR's full-time presence?
It's definitely not as healthy as I'd like to see it. I will give Renee and Darren Hackett of Caraway Speedway all the credit in the world. Without them, who knows if there would be much modified tour racing going on. Obviously, Bowman Gray Stadium with their weekly modified racing continues to be a success and pack the house. And, you know, I really like what they do with schedule-wise, and it doesn't take up your whole day. They do a lot of things right. So, you know, the other racing, we had a race at Hickory earlier this year, a race at Concord, and those are great, you know, NASCAR weekly tracks. Obviously, when the Whelen Modified Tour comes into town, or I say to town, but in the south, Myrtle Beach, Langley, when we go to Bristol later this year, it'll be a big deal. I think when the tour does come, it is a bigger deal because it's not oversaturated, so you don't get to see a full field of NASCAR modifieds every week or, you know, half a dozen times at one track like we used to. So when we go to Myrtle Beach, a lot of excitement. Langley really was always very good and exciting as far as the fans being involved, a lot of interaction. And then, of course, Bristol is Bristol Motor Speedway. There's just nothing else like it. So I'd like to see other tracks participate. And I think every event down south has been a success between the Myrtle Beach, the Langley, and the Bristols. Would love to see them come back, you know, at a place like Hickory, Caraway, Concord, anything like that. Anywhere NASCAR Modifieds go, if it's a track that's going to have a race, the NASCAR Modifieds are going to put on the best race. So would love to see it grow a little bit bigger. I know Caraway's running this weekend in 4th of July and all that, and I expect to be a big show there. But, you know, maybe a little bit regrouping on the southern side of modified. You know, it is NASCAR country and more Cup country and full-fendered cars, and, you know, people come down here to be in the ladder to make it to the Cup Series. I think that's why you see more emphasis on late model stocks. But it's hard to beat a modified race as a fan. I think anybody that goes and watches will agree. Some great racing, even as the car counts are not quite where I would like to see them.
The NASCAR series, when they run down there, great car counts this year, I believe approaching 30 cars at both Myrtle Beach and Langley, and I'm sure we'll get the same at Bristol Motor Speedway as we always do in August. All right, let's talk about some of the big races that happened over the weekend. We'll start first on the East Coast. Peyton Sellers won the Thunder Road Harley-Davidson 200 at the South Boston Speedway in front of a full house of race fans on Saturday night at South Boston to claim the win. 35 cars started the race. The event was the first in the Virginia Triple Crown. Round 2 is set for July 21st with the Hampton Heat 200 at the Langley Speedway. And the round 3, of course, the annual Valley Star Credit Union 300 at the Martinsville Speedway coming up on September 29th. Today on the show, Preston Peltier, the winner of the big super late model race on the West Coast. He picked up the Summer Showdown win, $25,000 that went along with that win at the Evergreen Speedway in Monroe, Washington. His second win in the event in the race's 7-year history. He's the first repeat winner. Chris Davidson finished second. Also a good run for the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West former champion in Chris Eggleston with a top 5 finishing in the 4th spot. Andy, $25,000 in a single day. How big is that for those guys, and how big would it be for you, say, for a single day payout in a modified?
Well, we're looking forward to the fall race at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Now that it's not a cup date, we're going to have the Pinty Series, the East Series, and the modified 250 lapper. So that's going to be the first race for modifieds, $25,000 to win in a long time. Definitely in my racing career. So that's a race we've all kind of circled, and there's a lot of question marks in that race. Save tires, stay in the back, you know, obviously with the bump drafting and the tight racing there, you know, it's going to be important to be there at the end. But, you know, anytime $25,000 to win, big target on that race. As you spoke of those big names, Preston Peltier, Eggleston, all out there to try to win that race. Course Evergreen, a beautiful facility. Glad to see it was a successful event for everybody involved. And glad to see the money being put up I know it's a lot of work on the tracks, sponsor, title event, for all those people to kind of get together, and glad it was a success all around. Looking forward to our chance to win $25,000 later this year.
That's coming up in September, part of a big race weekend at New Hampshire Motor Speedway that includes the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East and the NASCAR Pinty Series. And that'll be the subject of our next segment here on the show. They were in action this past weekend. 2009 Series champion Andrew Ranger picked up the win at Autodrome Chaudier. Ranger held off LP Dumoulin at the finish. The win was his first of the season and moves him up to third in the championship standings, just 8 points behind Dumoulin and 1 point behind Cole Ranger in second, or Cole Powell, that is, in second. Ranger will join us after the break here on NASCAR Coast to Coast.
Chris Crockett here with young members of our Toyota racing family.
Hi!
I heard you want to be drivers one day.
Yeah!
Want to be as fast as Hamlin?
Just like him!
Matt, what about you?
No thanks, I'm faster.
Faster than Hamlin?
Hamlin, Busch, Suarez, Jones, even Truex Jr. Did I say something funny?
No.
I can take them any day.
Okay.
Anytime.
Got it, kid.
Any track.
Uh-huh.
Any weather.
Oh, boy. NASCAR and Toyota Racing. With a family like this, who knows the places we'll go this season? Learn more at toyotaracing.com. Toyota. Let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, Inc.
Hi, this is Mike Bagley. Join me and the rest of the MRN crew every Tuesday night for NASCAR Live. We'll put a bow on the weekend's action and get you ready for the upcoming race with the biggest names in the sport.
As you look at that particular race, that's been one of our best races over the years, and I think every driver in the garage is looking forward to racing this particular package.
Hear exclusive interviews, expert analysis, as well as stuff you won't hear anywhere else.
Oh yeah, good job, guys. Good job.
It's NASCAR Live this Tuesday night at 7 Eastern on the Motor Racing Network.
This is NASCAR Coast to Coast, brought to you by Hercules Tires and by Grunt Style. Here are Kyle Rickey and Hannah Newhouse.
One of the most exciting days of the year for the MRN crew is when we're at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park each summer, and we get to see the NASCAR Pinty Series in action. Spectacular racing every year that we have seen them, whether it be in Toronto or in Montreal years ago. This past weekend, they were at Autodrome Chaudier, a tight quarter-mile oval, and at the end of the bumper-to-bumper 300, it was former series champion Andrew Ranger that claimed the win, his first win of the 2018 season. He joins us now on the guest line. Andrew, welcome back to NASCAR Coast to Coast, and congratulations on the race win. Unfortunately, shortened by 80 laps because of Mother Nature.
Exactly, yes. So, yeah, we finished the race with a nice win, and it's fantastic for our team to be there on the podium and in front of my family, friends, and sponsor. So it was a great weekend for us.
Andrew,
how much was your team able to monitor the weather as far as your mid-race and late-race strategies? Did you know rain was coming, and how did it affect the way your race played out?
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely a weird day, actually. It rained a little bit during the day. It's sunny, really, really warm, and the sun, everything would change. The weather changed a lot of times during the day, so when we came, they knew that something would happen, so we tried the last 150, and my crew chief told me, look, stay on the front, do everything you can. The weather will change, and it's what happened. So we've been lucky on our strategy, but we are very happy for the Mopar team, and it's fantastic to race for them. So first win this year, very happy about that.
And what does it mean to win there and get the first win out of the way early in the season on a small oval? Obviously, a lot of your success coming at the road course. It's
Yep.
I love bullring quarter-mile tracks. Grew up at Star Speedway. Like I said, just talk about what it means to win there and get it out of the way so early in the year.
Yeah, it's almost my hometown too. Home track. It's a small track, nice banking, and everybody was running on the inside. And I finally see a nice groove on the outside, on the third groove. So it was very strange. Nobody ran there, but I finally find a line there, and it worked for us. It's something so important, like you said, win, with in the beginning of the season like that. As we come back in the championship, we are third by 1 point behind the second and 7 points of the lead. So we are close, and it's not finished. It's a long season. Everything can happen, but to see the Mopar 27, it's awesome, just to be there on the top. And we want our goal. It's definitely win the championship, so we got to do everything to win.
It had been, and Andy mentioned a moment ago, finally getting the first win of this season, but it had been a while since you last won in the NASCAR Pinty Series. 2016, the fourth race of the year at Circuit ICAR was your last victory. I mean, why the slump? Usually, we're used to seeing you in victory lane a couple of times a year, and are you confident that you've kind of turned that corner now and will be able to contend for this year's title?
I want to. I want to do everything. Like you said, the last one was in 2016, and I Circuit ICAR and a road course. So to win on the oval, it's something very important for us. We all know that we have a good car on the oval right now. Guys work really hard during the winter to prepare to give me a new car, and it's great. I really feel comfortable. I know that car is fast, and on the road course we do normally very good. And we are going the next race at Toronto Indy, where last year we qualified on the pole. We have a little bad luck during the race, but if we can do well there, we can gain a lot of points and then come back in the lead in the championship. So. Like I just said, the guys work really hard during the winter and to prepare me a two-good car, awesome car, and to work with my crew chief, David White. He's a good crew chief. He knows what he's doing, and it's just awesome to win for everybody there, my friends, family, and the sponsor.
You mentioned Toronto coming up and you having success there, being fastest car in qualifying last year. What are some of the challenges that you're looking ahead now that, like you said, you're in a good points position, back to your winning ways we're used to you seeing? What are some of the things down the road that you've kind of got your attention? Maybe we need to be a little bit better on, maybe just need to survive, or what you have to do to be the Pinty's champion again this year?
Yes, I think what is very important, it's really in the middle of the season. It's really when we go on the west side where we have two big races back-to-back, and it's so important to do well and finish good, just to survive there those weekend, and to come back and Quebec after for the GP3R, where again it's a big weekend for us. But it's definitely those two races, Edmonton and Saskatoon, where we need to do good, but at the same time survive, have a good top 5 or top 3. It'd be awesome for us, because after this we're going on the road course. And we all know that what I can do there, so it's there where I need to gain the most points.
The Cup Series and the Xfinity Series have their own version of the West Coast swing down here in the States at the beginning of every season, and the NASCAR Pinty Series has their own West Coast swing in the middle of their summer months up there in Canada. I want to talk about one of the new races on the schedule. Andy mentioned the next race at Exhibition Place coming up on July 14th, but a new venue for the series coming up at New Hampshire Motor Speedway in September. Your thoughts of racing in the States for the first time as part of the NASCAR Pinty Series is concerned anyway, and what we might expect for these cars on a 1 mile oval.
Yeah, this is awesome. I raced there in the K&N Series and Nationwide in the past. So going back there in New Hampshire, Loudon, it's a nice track, a mile track. So a lot of things can happen. I really like to race on a long track like that. So I think with our car, it's got to be very interesting. We have a new Mopar engine. So I think it's awesome, and it's something new for us. So I'm very, very excited.
You mentioned you've been there before in K&N and Xfinity. I believe Cole Powell's probably been there in a modified when he used to race with us there all the time. Are there any other tracks in Canada that you can compare it to? You have the experience on there. Is it anything that reminds you to? And maybe what will be your advantage going there now that you have the experience on the 1 mile flat oval?
Yes, it's we have maybe not similar of New Hampshire, but it's the Jukaza. It's close to Niagara Falls. It's a brand new track. We run there last year plus this year, and it's an awesome track, and we do really well every time we go there. So I think we have something close to a good setup there, and it's like the fast track, and there at the mile there, it's awesome. So I'm I'm very happy to go there. And again, it's not too far to my home, so family and friends, I'm sure they will come to see me, and I would like to win for them.
One of the most popular drivers in the NASCAR Pinty Series, Andrew Ranger, joining us here on NASCAR Coast to Coast. Congratulations again on your win at Autodrome Chaudier over the weekend, and best of luck to you the rest of the 2018 season. Look forward to seeing you at a couple of events this summer at the NASCAR or at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park and at New Hampshire.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Andrew Ranger, big winner this past weekend of the Bumper to the Bumper 300 at Autodrome Chaudier. Coming up on the show, Summer Showdown winner Preston Peltier from this past weekend as NASCAR Coast to Coast rolls on.
Grunt style. The American fighting spirit is in everything we make. We are 500 patriots and veterans strong, bringing clothing manufacturing back to the United States of America. Always moving forward, never retreating, never giving up. We are Grunt Style, and this we'll defend. Get yours at gruntstyle.com or on the track this week at Daytona International Speedway.
All the dirt, winged excitement, and closest racing in America is featured each week on MRN's Winged Nation. Steve Post and our team of dirt racing experts bring you a trackside perspective on the heroes and personalities of sprint car racing. From Pennsylvania to California, the Midwest, Florida, and of course, Knoxville. Tune in to MRN's Winged Nation, presented by Sage Fruit, each Saturday on MAV TV. And MRN's Winged Nation, presented by Hercules Tires. Live Tuesdays at noon Eastern and on demand at MRN.com. This is NASCAR Coast to Coast, brought to you by Hercules Tires and by Grunt Style. Here are Kyle Rickey and Hannah Newhouse.
It took longer than anticipated to run the 7th annual Summer Showdown this past weekend at Evergreen Speedway in Monroe, Washington. But when it was all said and done late Sunday night, it was Fraser Park, California's Preston Peltier claiming the win, his second in the prestigious race, becoming the first repeat winner of the Summer Showdown. And he joins us now on the guest line. Preston, welcome to NASCAR Coast to Coast. And, well, it took a while, but congratulations on claiming yet another win in that prestigious event.
Thank you. Yeah, I really enjoy that facility up there. I like the racetrack. It's just a lot of fun to race on.
Before we talk about the race, let's talk about all the downtime leading up to it, because unfortunately, I believe it was a 4-day event. And it rained, I believe, at least 3 of the 4 days, including the rain-delayed event on Sunday. Sunday morning it was raining. What do you do with all the downtime, and how does that change the mindset?
Well, anytime you go to the Northwest, you're going to have to plan on a little bit of rain. And actually, I feel like it just calms everything down. It gives you a little more time to think, and everything happens just a little bit slower. And to be honest with you, it's just it's a lot easier on me throughout the weekend. So I love going up there.
Tell us about where winning the Summer Showdown ranks on your list. 25,000 to win, beautiful track like Evergreen. Obviously, you've had a ton of success all over the country, winning at Hickory earlier this year in super late model competition, a threat wherever you go. So what does it mean to win an event like this?
Well, I was just talking to my car owner earlier today. We stopped here in Twin Falls to visit the family for a little while, and we were talking about Evergreen and how that's kind of becoming my new Hickory. And, Hickory is one of those places where it's just like an old shoe. It fits my driving style, and Monroe feels a lot the same. It's just bigger, and that's one of the things I love about a place is it's fast enough that you can feel the speed. You can feel the air, moving the car around a little bit, and you don't get that at some of these little short tracks we go to.
Kyle Rickey and former NASCAR.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I didn't even answer your question. I kind of got off on a tangent there. So as far as winning the Summer Showdown, I've told people this, and I'll say it again. It's like anytime you can win any main event anywhere, right down to the local short track, you're doing something, and wins are hard to come by. So we don't take any of those for granted, that's for sure.
Kyle Rickey, joined by Preston Peltier, along with former NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour Southern champion Andy Seuss, filling in for Hannah Newhouse this weekend. Hannah, of course, at the Summer Showdown this past weekend, and she's still hanging out on the West Coast, going to run a late model race this coming weekend at her home track at Meridian Speedway in Idaho. You said post-race, Preston, that it was one of the most fun and relaxing weekends that you have had in quite some time. What made it so fun and relaxing?
Well, what made it relaxing was we had some support, some help from some guys in Idaho that came up and helped us crew both cars. And what made it fun is my car owner, Eddie Vecchiarelli. We built a brand new car, like intending to go run at Colorado National, and we kind of missed our projected date of completion. So we decided, heck, this would be a good opportunity for you to try to run some of these big races, and we decided to take two cars up there. And with all the help that we got from these Chris McKean and Chad and some guys at the local track here in Twin Falls, it really made it easy on us.
All right, I'm going to get a little bit more selfish now. How is it you get around so good around Hickory? That's one track on my list. I want to know how to win there. Came up a little short in a modified race, and I got to watch you masterfully just drive through the field there and kind of just take control of that race for the second half. And, you made it exciting to play cat and mouse with Shane Lee behind you, but you really made it look easy. And I just got to know, what's your secret there with all the success?
To be honest with you, it's not like I run it any different than any other race. It's just the place suits my driving style. It's real rough. The more aggressive you get, the slower you go. So, and you'll find that even out of Monroe. I did another program last night, and we talked about qualifying, and I missed qualifying just a little bit, and it's because I overdrove the car. If you try too hard, you're just going to go slower. And man, that place is so rough, and there's so many grooves. You can run high, low. Heck, I've even been all the way up against the wall, and that's what makes it fun. It doesn't matter who's where and what how they're racing. There's always a way to get around it. You just got to go where they're not.
All right, don't overdrive up against the wall. I'm writing this down for Hickory. I appreciate it.
Don't overdrive for sure. It's all about finesse and that place is so rough. Like you can take a crate car, a pro late model, and win a super late model race. So if that tells you anything about conserving tires and how that place needs to be driven, then we've done it both. We've run both super and pro in the super late model race and won there. So you just got to be, just kind of finesse it around there. So them tires, better tires you got at the end, a whole lot easier it's going to be.
Absolutely.
Andy, I expect all of these notes to pay off the next time you race there.
Right here.
So,
got to write them down.
All right. There we go. Let's button up the race at Evergreen, the Summer Showdown. Several restarts there at the end of the event. Chris Davidson, one of your closest challenges, on the final restart with 20 to go. Jeremy Doss was up there much of the race. Any concerns in the second half of the events with some of those restarts and yellow flags?
No, I got to tell you, man. The car that Hamke that we had, it's a new Z-Rail, and we've been working some bugs out of it. That's the same car that we set on the pole down at the Snowball Derby earlier this year, and we kind of went back to that, that kind of a setup. Bubba Pollard, actually, we were at Berlin a few weeks ago, and we got to talking, and he said, man, just go back to what you did at the Derby. And I had about a 16-hour drive on the way home to think about it and why that works. And I realized some stuff, it just the light bulb switched on, and we went back to work at the shop for the showdown and tried a few new little things with the old setup, and I think we're kind of back on track again. It's easy to get off. One little thing, all it takes is just one little thing, and I'll tell you, I'm probably the worst at it. What will happen is you'll go to a racetrack and you'll find something little that works, and you'll leave it on the car, go to the next one, you'll find another little bit that it takes here, and you'll leave that on the car, and before you know it, 3 or 4 races, you got a completely different setup under that thing. So it's like you got to have that baseline always to go back to.
What's the rest of your summer look like now? Now that the big event is out of the way on the West Coast, still a lot of major events coming up across the country during the summer months. What's the next couple of months look like for your schedule?
They're talking about possibly Montana 200, which is coming up in July. Definitely want to go back to Berlin. I feel like that's one of those places I want to win at as bad as I want to win at Pensacola. So, and then we got that Super Select out at IRP later in the year. Richmond, we're definitely looking forward to Richmond. Richmond's going to be a cool race. I kind of wish that some of these series would kind of pull together and hit some of those bigger tracks like that, like Bristol and Richmond, and maybe even something up in Iowa. That'd be pretty awesome.
I think we know somebody at the Iowa Speedway that we can call. Our former president, David Hyatt, now the president of the Iowa Speedway, so maybe we'll have to give him a ring. Preston, thank you for joining us here on NASCAR Coast to Coast. Summer Showdown winner, best of luck to you the rest of the summer.
Appreciate it. It's good talking to you guys. Hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
It took an extra day and a half to complete that event, thanks to Mother Nature, but Preston Peltier picking up the race win at the Summer Showdown. Andy and I will be back to wrap things up on this edition of NASCAR Coast to Coast after the break.
Chris Crockett here with young members of our Toyota racing family.
Hi!
I heard you want to be drivers one day.
Yeah!
Want to be as fast as Hamlin?
Just like him!
Matt, what about you?
No thanks, I'm faster.
Faster than Hamlin?
Hamlin, Busch, Suarez, Jones, even Truex Jr. Did I say something funny?
No.
I can take them any day.
Okay.
Anytime.
Got it, kid.
Any track.
Uh-huh.
Any weather.
Oh, boy. NASCAR and Toyota Racing. With a family like this, who knows the places we'll go this season? Learn more at toyotaracing.com. Toyota, let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, Inc.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
This is NASCAR Coast to Coast, brought to you by Hercules Tires and by Grunt Style. Here are Kyle Rickey and Hannah Newhouse.
Rickey wrapping up another edition of NASCAR Coast to Coast, joined by Andy Seuss. First, wanting to remind you that the Ridge is a minimalist front pocket wallet that helps you reevaluate your everyday carry, launched by a father-son team and funded on Kickstarter in 2013 to the tune of $266K. The Ridge now resides in pockets of over 250,000 men and women around the country. The RFID blocking wallet is made with 2 metal plates, either titanium, carbon fiber, or aluminum, bound together by durable elastic band. Get 10% off today with free worldwide shipping by going to ridgewallet.com. That's ridgewallet.com, using the promo code RACING for 10% off. Ditch your bulky wallet today and get the Ridge at ridgewallet.com. Wrapping up this edition of NASCAR Coast to Coast, and there was a lot of racing across the country this past weekend. Hickory Motor Speedway saw Vince Midas win the limited late model feature as their late models were off. Bobby Niesberg Jr. and Burt Meyer split the twin modified features at Bowman Gray. Darren Robertson won the late model feature at Colorado National Speedway. And at the Sunset Speedway up in Canada, it was Glenn Watson and J.R. Fitzpatrick splitting the twin super late model features. And at the Stafford Motor Speedway, Ronnie Williams picked up the SK5K last Friday night. This coming weekend, a lot of the series are off, but the NASCAR Wheel and Modify Tour is not. They'll race at Riverhead Raceway in New York on Saturday night. Justin Bonsignor is the point leader by 23 over Chase Dowling. And the NASCAR Peak Mexico Series is in action at Autodrome Miguel E. Abed. Irvin Vincent is the point leader by 1 over Ruben Garcia Jr. Andy, where do we see you next? You mentioned the NASCAR Wheel and Modify Tour weekend coming up, 2 weeks' time in New Hampshire.
Yeah, looking forward to getting back into the swing of things with modifieds, New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the Wednesday show at Thompson Motorsports Park in the summer. Looking forward to that. Bristol Motor Speedway again, Thompson. All-Star Speedway going home for the SBM 125, and some more ARCA stuff. So a lot of time in the shop, but looking forward to getting back to the racetrack, that's for sure.
Well, we appreciate your help today, filling in for Hannah. Don't be a stranger. Swing by anytime.
Next time, I'll be here as a guest. I gotta earn my way back on here next time. That's the goal.
And hopefully it's a win after one of those races at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway in a couple weeks' time.
That would be fine with me.
All right, Andy Seuss, former NASCAR Southern Modified Tour champion, joining us. Want to thank everybody on the show today, including Andrew Ranger and Preston Peltier, for producers Craig Moore and Brian Yesowich. I'm Ricky. See you back here next week.
NASCAR Coast to Coast has been brought to you by Hercules Tires and by Grunt Style. NASCAR Coast to Coast can be found on demand at MRN.com, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, and SoundCloud. NASCAR Coast to Coast is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.